Yeah. Listen at you pulling a Michael Savage, introducing your cooking skills to us. Appreciate it. Michael Savage was the master at mixing politics and art. That's one thing I appreciated about Michael Savage. Not only was he a political commentator, but he was a man of culture. Yes, Michael Savage had his problems. He was something of a he had some problems with discrimination. I'm not going to lie about that. I will not pretend that did not exist, but nonetheless, Michael Savage had talent in the way that he conveyed his message. Not only did he talk about political realities and the realities of the dangers of some elements of fanatical operators within American society, especially those coming from the left wing. But Michael Savage had a perfect balance of art and politics. He would talk about the U.S. government in one part of the show, but then he shifts off talking about Mozart and Beethoven and different classical musicians and classical literature and Greek philosophy. Yes, Michael Savage definitely influenced me in my way of conveying politics, because to me, politics without art is like food without flavor. We can't just talk about politicians, but we have to talk about politics in the context of the realities of human existence within the framework of how human beings function. The fact that government would not exist without human beings. Human beings cannot exist without government, because government is an innate, inevitable part of all human societies, because within all human societies there is a hierarchical paradigm that definitely thrives and that definitely can give vibrancy and health to a society if it is done properly. So therefore, when we are talking about human society, we cannot just talk about politics, but all that which encompasses human society, all that which human society entails unto itself. So therefore, politics coexists with artwork because both emanate from the same thing, and that is the human consciousness, the eternal element that thrives and that moves within the human being itself. Because politics comes from what? The reality that there must be a hierarchy. The reality that law must emanate from morality. Morality comes from what? It comes from God, the eternal element that lives within us. As St. Paul says, Jesus Christ, in whom we move, in whom we live, in whom lives in all of us. So therefore, us being one with God, we are also one with each other. Therefore, we must have community. Therefore, we must have government, which emanates laws that allow society to have a balance between freedom and restriction. That balance, just like the balance between sweetness and bitterness, bitterness and spiciness, spiciness and savoriness, all coming together alive in the perfect harmonization of human existence. That, my friends, that is the beauty of politics. It's not about talking about some bullshit politician who comes from Virginia. Who gives a shit about that stuff? But it's the reality that there lies within politics a struggle between what truly is law. As it was said in the dialogue between Socrates and the man from Crete. What is law? Asked Socrates to the man from Crete. What is law? To which the man from Crete responds, well, that which the lawmakers say is law. And Socrates says to this, what are you saying? What is hearing? What is hearing? Is it what you are hearing, or is it the natural process of absorbing sound? Well, obviously, hearing is the natural function of your ears. Hearing is not what you are hearing. Hearing is the natural function of your ears. So therefore, what is law? Asked Socrates. I'm not entirely sure. The Cretan is kind of confused by this question. And Socrates asked the man from Crete a very simple question. Have you ever called a good man lawless? To which the Cretan says, no, I have never called a good man lawless. Therefore, all law must be good. So truly, the political struggle is not one that is merely between Democrat and Republican, but it is one between people who have one sort of interpretation for what is good and another group of people who have their own respective interpretation for what is good. Politics, at the end of the day, is the battle of interpreting what is good and what is bad. Hence why you have people who support Kyle Rittenhouse, and then on the other side, you have people who support Joseph Rosenbaum. One group of people says Joseph Rosenbaum was good. even though he was lawless. And then they'll say Rittenhouse was the one who was lawless, even though what Rittenhouse did was completely justifiable and was done in self-defense, which is an innate right within every single human being. Politics is not just talking about senators and congressmen and presidents. Politics is the discussion on truly what does it mean to be a human being. Hence why the abortion discussion is so polarizing, because at the end of the day, what is abortion about? Is human life worthy of protecting, or is it not? Is it a human being, or is it not a human being? These are existential questions, not ones that are simply determined by politicians, but ones which come from what actually makes us humans. Because at the end of the day, what makes us human beings is not a politician. What makes us human beings is our ability to pontificate and to meditate and to discuss issues that are outside of the physical world, issues that are outside of our own physical, our own physicality, issues that are outside of our own impulses. Because if you look at animals are all about impulses, right? The chicken sees food, it eats. The cat sees food, it eats. The dog sees food, it eats. Now, we humans can be this way if we allow ourselves to be imprisoned within our own natural impulses. But the human being is the only creature in the world that can say, why am I eating so much? Why am I doing so much of this? Why am I obsessed with so much? Why am I obsessed so much on this one thing? Why am I so caught up on this one little thing in my life? Why am I this way? I shouldn't be this way. The human being is the only creature that says, I should not. Every single creature on the face of the earth says, I will do. I do. I do this. I do. Eat, kill, fight, sleep, kill, this. That's what every animal thinks. The only creature in the world that says that is not restricted to just merely saying I do, but also saying I should, is the human being. What distinguishes the human being from other animals is our ability to say I should. That is what makes us distinct from the other animals. Every animal says I do, I do, I do, I do, I do. Or to make it simple, do. Kill, fight, sleep, mate. Kill, fight, sleep, mate. Kill, fight, sleep, mate. That's what animals think. The human being can be caught up in the just do mode, but the human being has the ability to say I should or I should not. That's what distinguishes us from being human. That's what distinguishes us from the other animals. That's what determines our humanity. I should or I shouldn't. And all political questions are ones that spring from moral questions, and all moral questions are ones which spring from transcendent and existential realities, which are outside of our own material world, because they are outside of our impulses. They are outside of our animalness, because all human beings are physically animals. We are physically animals. We can be if we completely reject God, we become ruthless, violent, vile things. But with God, we can be the creators of civilization and the creators of civility and law and justice and freedom and liberty and things like this. And so what saves us from our animalness is our ability to look past our own animalness, our ability to look beyond our own impulses. This is what makes us human. So politics coincides with art, because artwork and morality, all of these things come from one thing, and that is that which is outside of our animalness. The French philosopher Joseph de Maistre, he talked about the eternal element within the human being, that there is an eternal element within us that is not physical, not material, not one that is determined or dictated by impulses, but one that enables us to look beyond our impulses. That, my friends, is humanity.